walk. That's what they do. Family walks and babies on their arms. They don't take much luggage with them. They only take the food, the water, so they can cross the borders.
Gosh, their lives just packed up. They're trying to get out of Ukraine, and Alina's husband Rob is actually flying to Poland to try and meet up with them at the border and bring them to the UK. Well, a former Ripon Grammar School pupil, Lewis Edwards, and his Ukrainian girlfriend Tanya have been trying to cross the border into Slovakia. When they do, they hope to help other refugees, and they've started an online appeal. Well, Lewis's mum, Ali, is in Ripon. Ali, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on the show this morning.
Thank you.
Look, what is the latest that you've heard from your son and his girlfriend?
Lewis managed to message last night to say he and Tanya had successfully crossed the border into Slovakia.
Wow.
I'm just so glad he's safe.
Exactly. How on earth have they done that? Have they had to walk?
They've managed to, Tanya had access to her sister's car, but unfortunately Lewis and Tanya and her sister's partner have got separated, so they don't know exactly where they are at the moment.
Goodness.
They managed to make it to a farm in the Leave district, and Lewis has run with Tanya a Ukrainian summer school for the last 7 years. So the gentleman that owns that offered them some respite and somewhere to stay, and then they managed to get themselves on a bus to get to the border.
Goodness me.
But they've the GoFundMe appeal is Lewis wants to stay over there because obviously Tanya can't come home with him because of the visa restrictions.
Right.
And after spending the time being bombed and escaping, he can't leave her.
Have they actually been bombed then while they were there in Ukraine?
Yeah. We got a phone call on the Thursday morning and videos of the bombs going off because they both actually lived in Kyiv and taught at a school there. It's been quite horrific for us, but obviously 100 times worse for them.
I mean, that is a heck of a journey from Kyiv to Slovakia, isn't it?
Yeah. And the hours and hours without any contact with them, not knowing if they're alive or dead, has been horrendous for the whole family.
Oh, gosh. And I mentioned that Lewis and Tanya want to actually set up more places to help other refugees now that they're in Slovakia.
Yeah, they've managed to. The guy that runs Point Camp, he has sites in Ukraine and sites in Slovakia. He's letting them use, obviously the children won't be coming over from Ukraine to use the summer camps. So he's allowing them to use that. They've already managed to accommodate 17 families and move them on. So they've had somewhere to stay, somewhere to recoup, something to eat and refuel. And they just want to make it bigger. And a lot of the other Slovakian, Ukrainian people that ran the camps with them are meeting them there and helping with the cause. And it just shows, the resilience of the Ukrainian people and the generosity of the British people.
Mm.
We've raised nearly £5,000 already.
Wow. How on earth, I mean, what has Lewis told you of that journey, trying to get from Kyiv to Slovakia?
Obviously, when he phoned and said it wasn't safe to stay and it wasn't safe to go, he was very frightened and emotional. It was a terrible phone call. But it was either that or spend the rest of the time in the metro being bombed. And when he actually started the journey, they could only travel during the day because the Russians were out at night and they were in fear of their life, so they had to find somewhere to hide the car off the roads. He said it's been quite surreal, really, because you see little old grannies with machine guns and just the general public that you would see wandering around making Molotov cocktails and throwing them at tanks. I just can't even imagine. And he's only told me the tip of the iceberg, obviously.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to worry his mum and his granddad.
He's trying to protect you. Yeah.
Family.
Yeah, absolutely. How old is Lewis?
He'll be 33 in September.
I mean, it's an experience he will not forget in a hurry. And I suppose you would want him to come home to be a little bit safer, but he doesn't want to come home, does he?
No, I mean, obviously the selfish part of me wants him to come home and be safe, but I want Tanya to be able to come over as well and be safe.
Yeah.
We're trying to sort of lobby MPs and asking everybody else to lobby MPs to change the rules. But Lewis is Lewis, and he has a very generous nature. He's a very compassionate young man, and he will stay and help as much as he can.
Mm-hmm. And I suppose Tanya's left her family, some of her family in Ukraine?
Yeah, like I say, her
sister,
they were
they
travelling
don't
with
know.
her sister and his partner, but they've got separated.
Yeah.
So I would imagine he's been conscripted by now. And then there's her parents who live sort of the other side of Ukraine to them. So it's just an absolute nightmare. I can't imagine. Well, I don't think any of us can really imagine what it's like.
Yeah, I mean, you see the pictures, don't you? And it just it does hit you. I have to say, I've wept this morning myself over these pictures, Ali. Listen, we wish him well, and we wish Tanya well. Would you stay in touch? Would that be okay, Ali?
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Of course we will, and hopefully Lewis will be able to speak to you at some point.
I would love that. Honestly, I would love that. Ali, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Ali there, she's in Ripon, and her son has made it out of Kyiv with his girlfriend to Slovakia. I mean, what a journey. What a terrifying journey. It's just gotten 7:15.